it here. It's going to be a little bit more of an odd video, but it's based on my experience that I've been working with Proxmox now. I have a 3-server cluster, and I've been messing around as one usually does in a home lab, and things happen and things go wrong, and I found out that if one node gets confused or drops offline in an unplanned way, then you can get a situation where you suddenly are blocked from doing certain administrative procedures on another node, or it starts to act very, very strangely. And it's actually not consistent either in the way that the node, the still active nodes behave. But it actually doesn't like an unplanned disconnect of a node even. So I just thought I'd show some of the key commands and then show how one can basically on an emergency. This is an emergency basis isolation of a node. So I wouldn't recommend this for any kind of normal operational maintenance or anything, but this is for panic situations when you need to have a node running and you need to actually be able to do things on the node, and then you have some other problem in the cluster combination that is and then you're prevented from doing that administrative action on that node. So let's have a look. So let's have a look at some of the real basic status commands to get an overview of the voting status situation. So here it tells you the main top level information about the cluster and the quorum setup, which is the voting subsystem, and then here you have the vote quorum information. So it's expecting 3 votes, the highest expected number of votes is 3, the total votes is 3. And to have quorum you need to have 2 running systems. And this can cause a problem that if you have a situation where one node gets isolated temporarily, or other nodes die in the middle of in the middle of everything, and it hasn't coordinated the quorum, then you can have a situation where you can't do anything, or there are certain things you can't do on the remaining healthy node. And as I said, the behavior is very inconsistent, so I don't think somehow the Proxmox architecture design system team hasn't really thought of all the different use cases of different things you need to do when you actually get the situation where you have this dropping out of nodes, even if there is a voting system in the background. And then you see the membership information, so it shows what members are in the and then it shows you actually which is quite, well, you'll know that anyway, but what is considered the local node, so that's where you have the web interface connected to. No, it's actually not. Actually, I don't really know what that, oh, whatever, let's look it up. Moving on. And then you can just take a list of the nodes in the cluster. So this just gives you a raw list of those ones. Now the local is, since I'm working on the terminal of that server, so that's what it says that is local. Okay. And then we look at the third one, which is the high availability manager. And it'll give you a status of what the system looks like. So these 3, if you use these 3 in combination, you'll get an overview of, okay, what is the status of the cluster you have. And in this case, the cluster is operational. There's nothing inadvertently going on, so all the administrative procedures, replications, backups and stuff should work, and you should be able to maintain your containers and virtual machines without any problems. But let's say that you actually start having an issue in one of the servers, and you would like to actually isolate this or the one that it's connected to. So then you would say that, okay, I want to tell it to not expect more than one server being active. And then as you see that this will error out, so it won't work, so you can't isolate this. And you don't want to go like shutting down or randomly shutting down other nodes and stuff. You would just like to pull down that node you're working on. And so then we have to go to this emergency corosync mode. That's my name, not anybody else's. Let's see now. Go to here, and I'll put this information in the comments also. So the first step is that we would like to shut down corosync, and that will then give you this status. So as you see now, it can't initialize the CMAP service. So basically, it's isolated this node item. And then we can take the node status. And it shows can't initialize, so it's dead. And then we take the high availability status. And here it says no quorum on the node in question. And that means it's offline. So you should be able to do certain non-administrative procedures on the server that otherwise were blocked due to something wacko going on between the interoperability between different nodes. And in this mode, I just show that if you did try to then isolate it, and saying that there's only one, then it'll stay allowed. There's no CMAP source. You can't do that. But now you could actually perform different procedures on this machine. But don't go overboard when you're doing stuff. When the node is out of the cluster, then be a bit restrictive on what you do. But there are certain things that you might just have to do to keep production running. And then when you want to restore it, in this specific case, then it's actually just a simple matter of restarting the corosync process, and then it comes back to green status, and then everything's okay. We'll just look at node status also. And the absolute last resort is the one that gets a bit violent with the high availability, with corosync and the high availability subsystem. So this is, I would say, highly non-recommended. Again, on this line, that this is all just a super emergency procedure. So on the node where you really need to be able to get stuff done without being on blocks, then you disable everything. You take the corosync out of action, and then you take the high availability services out of action. And then you also disable all warnings, this MSRS. Suppress warnings errors for unimplemented model-specific registers in the KVM. So this will, because it kind of goes a little bit nuts when you're doing stuff like this. So then you get it to be quiet, and then you get basically you get the same isolation, except on a little bit higher level. Let's see, look at the nodes. Initialize, and then you take the high availability status. So here we go, no quorum on node 5612. and then it doesn't know the status of the other one, so are they dead or what? And now you should be able to do things more freely on the node in question. But not a very recommended thing to do. But as I said, emergencies are emergencies. I mean, if you're going to do normal inline maintenance, then you should do a standard shutdown of the system and make it vanish from the cluster in the normal way. And you can even, if you need to take it out for a longer time, then you can actually reconfigure the cluster. There are ways you can reconfigure the cluster to remove a node. Not covered here. So we just start up the services again. And we allow the errors to be processed. And then we can run this here, saying what the number of nodes, our wished number of expected nodes should be. And this is just to do a verification that one of the fastest ways to verify that all 3 nodes are active, because when you see expected is 3 and you have active 3, then this will work. If you have less than 3, then this will fail. So it's actually without having to run all the status commands. But we can also run the status commands, and now we're basically back to normal operation. Now look at the nodes. You see all the nodes are now online. And then the high availability manager, it should not be freaking out about anything. So here we see that the quorum is okay, and then it says which one is the elected master, and then which are the slave units. Yeah, there really is something in the infrastructure of Proxmox that doesn't work so well when you start losing, when a node disappears. Like let's say it gets a hardware failure. I mean, it like crashes in. That would be a good example. Like, let's say it unintentionally vanishes from the cluster, and then it affects it even affects administrative procedures on the other 2 remaining healthy nodes, even if those administrative procedures basically can't be seen to be connected to the node that left the cluster. So that's and I personally haven't really been able to figure it out or identify what's the logic. But I do think that the key point is there's some kind of an architectural like mistake, or I wouldn't say it's like a mission that they haven't really realized on all the different combinations how a node can disappear. And then what should the other nodes do that are still remaining, even if you have this voting process? Because I mean, the voting process is to basically say, okay, do you have a clean cluster? But you know, the system should react to a reduction in nodes. Like, if a node disappears, then it's illogical for me that suddenly some random administrative procedures related to containers or virtual machines can no longer be performed on the remaining healthy nodes automatically. That you need to actually take extra actions to be able to enable that activity to go on. So, and as I said, I can't really give clear use cases because they were just weird. Because when I've been doing this home lab stuff, then of course one or the other node disappears for one or the other reason, and then suddenly I noticed that when the remaining so-called healthy nodes, suddenly I'm blocked. I can't start a virtual machine on one of the healthy nodes, or I can't I can't create a new virtual machine, or it's a bit weird. But anyway, I just hope that this overlay, at least it will enable you to check your cluster, using the 3 main commands. What's the health status of my cluster? And then gives you some hints of how you can actually do something about it. So now the last little hint I'm going to give is related to the fact that if one of the nodes actually vanishes, and we can do this. So, and that was the command that I was showing at the very beginning. So if you actually do have a case where one of them, the cluster nodes disappears. Let's see here. And I haven't shut down. So if I would, like one of these, I'd just physically shut down one of them randomly. Then you can go to one of the healthy, come in with the console into a healthy node, and then you can say, you can force it to expect only 2. Because also I've noticed that, yeah, like this, when it vanishes, then it doesn't necessarily always reduce the number of volts to 2. Yeah, as I said, very strange behavior. But I mean, if you lose one and then you run on the remaining healthy one, you run this, then the remaining 2 nodes will continue working administratively, as one would expect. Of course, things that are dependent on the node that's left. If you do have some storage or something from there, then it will not work. Otherwise, it'll be okay. So, anyway, as I said, I'll dump some of the commands into the comments, and hope it helps you out. And yeah, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.